President Biden will sign an executive order aimed at safeguarding abortion rights. The move comes exactly 2 weeks after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. At least 13 states have now stopped nearly all abortion services.
Puts in an executive order, and let me read you, this is under Section 4. The Secretary of Health and Human Services shall, in consultation with the Attorney General and the Chair of the FTC, consider options to address the deceptive or fraudulent practices related to reproductive healthcare services, including online, and to protect access to accurate information. Code word, we're going to use the FTC and the Department of Justice and HHS to try to close down, you guessed it, crisis pregnancy centers. And Javier Becerra would know about that, the HHS secretary, because he was the defendant in a case that we brought with others to the Supreme Court of the United States where he lost by using these same arguments, but they are clearly targeting the crisis pregnancy centers.
I want to talk about an executive order I'm signing to protect reproductive rights of women. In the aftermath of the Supreme Court's terrible, extreme, and I think so totally wrong-headed decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, we cannot allow an out-of-control Supreme Court working in conjunction with extremist elements of the Republican Party to take away freedoms and our personal autonomy.
It is a concern when the president starts saying things like an out-of-control Supreme Court, when really, actually, if you look at how the Supreme Court has ruled, other than this case, which they don't care for, it's not like it's been, this super conservative. The Remain in Mexico was overturned. These things are happening, but because it's abortion, it becomes the number one thing. Of course, now they're out of control.
The call to action coming just 24 hours after President Biden's executive order aimed at protecting access to reproductive health care services. Many of the demonstrators saying the president's actions do not go far enough. They want him to do more.
They're going to unleash the power of the federal government to go after these resource centers that are trying to convey a pro-life message as if they're engaged in criminal enterprise or fraudulent and deceptive practice. They don't hide it.
Elizabeth Warren recently talked about crisis pregnancy centers.
This is Senator Warren. This is, by the way, what we have been fighting in states like hers.
In Massachusetts right now, those crisis pregnancy centers that are there to fool people who are looking for pregnancy termination help outnumber true abortion clinics by 3 to 1. We need to shut them down here in Massachusetts, and we need to shut them down all around the country. You should not be able to torture a pregnant person like that.
Now, you may hear this and say, okay, this is just words by Elizabeth Warren, but we have had to defend these pro-life pregnancy centers across the country in federal court and state court, in New York City, in California. There is a move, there has been a move, long-term move by the pro-abortion industry to shut these pro-life pregnancy centers down.
Her words are actually horrific. Pregnancy centers throughout the entire country give away $266 million of free medical services and resources to communities all over this incredible country.
What you've got is what the left says they believe in, which is a community that has decided to come together to help those in need. So why would someone like Senator Warren want to shut that down? Jordan, there's only one answer to this. It's that they're not pro-choice. They are pro-abortion on demand and in any and every circumstance. That's the only way that it is. And look, how do you combat it? You have to combat it federally. But then I think more importantly, in a post-Roe world, you have to do what we're doing at the ACLJ. You have to come alongside these pregnancy centers in each and every community and each and every state and make sure they have a defense when they're attacked from this high-profile level.
President Biden welcomed President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador of Mexico, who you may recall skipped the Summit of the Americas last month in Los Angeles.
And that was supposedly sending a political message to President Biden. Well, he had this to say yesterday. Now, I kind of want to break it down. This is the President of Mexico. The terminology he was using, which I think he might have been trying to use terminology that President Biden would like, but he was using it wrong as a not his first language. Take a listen.
I know that your adversaries, the conservatives,
van a pegar el grito en el cielo.
Are going to be screaming all over the place.
Pero sin un programa atrevido de desarrollo y bienestar.
But without a daring, a bold program of development and well-being,
no será posible resolver los problemas.
it will not be possible to solve problems.
I think he was using conservative in the sense of people who are conservative in their approach to issues. But Dad, we know when it comes to immigration and the border, we don't want conservative approaches. We want those bold approaches. We do not want the status quo.
President Lopez Obrador recently called on Mexicans in the United States to vote against, quote, anti-immigrant candidates.
13,000 illegal crossings yesterday, just in the Del Rio sector. Just think about how many people that is. It fills up, your municipal auditorium times 2. This is the problem when you don't have a border policy. This is the problem when you don't have policy. But now you've got a immigration crisis, a border crisis, a national security crisis, all this happening simultaneously. So you got to ask yourself, as this is all unfolding, why do we have no policy?
225,000 illegals cross our southern border every month. That's not every year, that's every month. And those are just the ones we know about. You add the getaways, the real number is probably 300,000.
Our border is wide open. Cartels have operational control of large areas of the southwest border, and drugs are pouring across every single day.
There were policies that we had that make sense, but they're going to do nothing that was previously done. And that's the problem when you have an administration that is looking at basically, let's just make sure we don't do anything they did, even if that worked. That's the problem.